What's up, investors? It's the Russian dude. Let's get straight to the point, talk about some ridiculous Russian propaganda. Huh. Okay, well, today we have shawarma. That's right. And not exactly the entire meal, but a sauce, the mayonnaise. And long story short, the Russian authorities, for some reason, they saw that it discredits somehow potentially even the army. It is against the patriotic values, it is against family values. I have no idea what they found. And long story short, they are seriously discussing right now the ban of mayonnaise in the use of shawarma. I mean, yes, you can still use mayonnaise everywhere else, but not inside shawarma. And this literally made the top news for the last couple of days on the Russian media sources, in Telegram channels. Like Russia does not have any other problems except adding some white sauces inside shawarma. Well, I'm not a politician, so what do I know? Enough with this true clownship, now it is time to get serious. Let's talk about the soon arrival of F-16s, because yes, according to the Secretary of the State of the US, Antony Blinken, F-16s are already on their way from Denmark and the Netherlands, so the planes are coming. Besides that, Norway is also pledging 6 of F-16s to Ukraine as well. Hopefully in the near future they will, at least it is my personal assumption, they will arrive within more or less the same time frame as these ones from the Denmark and the Netherlands. And obviously we do know the huge importance of these fighter jets, but also something what Ukraine desperately needs is the air defense systems, at least around major cities. And the USA, Germany, Romania, Italy, and Netherlands as well, they are pledging 5 additional air defense systems, including Patriots and NASAMS, to Ukraine, as well as $1 billion to maintain and continue supporting existing Ukrainian air defense system. But wait, there is more. Another huge news came to us from the United Kingdom, and it's a brand new Prime Minister. Basically what they said is that now they are greenlighting even deeper attacks against the territory of Russia with the Storm Shadow missiles. This, guys, is huge. This is a changer. This is a very big surprise to Ukraine, because finally they will be able to reach crucial military targets of Russians which they were hiding. Besides these so-called red lines which the West established to Ukraine, and this is how Russia was able to continue its attacks against Ukraine pretty much uninterrupted. I'll give you a little bit more details about these specific targets behind this radius where Russia was hiding those military objects, but first of all, just literally a couple of minutes about a quick update from Ukrainian southern and eastern front lines. First of all, right here is the picture from Zaporozhye front line where Ukrainians were able to immobilize, first of all, Russian T-90M Prorыв tank, the most modern machine that the army is using at this very moment. And then Russians even tried to rescue it. Ukrainians saw it, to be honest, as an opportunity. They did not destroy the tank right away, they allowed a lot of infantry to gather around it, and this is exactly the moment when Ukrainians continued to use FPV drones, ultimately turning this machine into atoms. If you remember from my previous week's video, there were several attacks against Cape Fioland, located on the territory of Crimean Peninsula. At this moment, only what footage we had was just smoke recorded by some local residents. Until now. Because right now we have this satellite comparison which shows that the military enterprise of Russians on this Cape Fioland was destroyed. In Volgograd there was several FPV Ukrainian drones which were attacking Russian oil refineries, and as well we have a satellite confirmation that these targets were fully destroyed. And then in Voronezh, a local ammunition warehouse which Russians were using to, well, store their ammunition obviously, well, it was destroyed as well based on this satellite image as well. And in Belgrade, Ukrainians once again demonstrated a perfect work of their drone operators. First of all, they were able to track Russian soldiers who literally took one of empty abandoned houses and made it into their literally temporary base. And then the drones with the surprises came to knock on the door of those Russians. Well, this became literally like a house of cards. Which, by the way, if you remember from my earlier video from already this week, this is exactly why the local residents in Belgrade are putting Ukrainian signs on top of their houses, whether these are flags or blue and yellow paint, or if they just put BNR, which is something like Belgradskaya Narodная Respublika, People's Republic of Belgrade. This is like a joke, but whatever. So long story short, this is exactly proves the point why local residents should continue doing this, because otherwise Ukrainians are attacking such houses. And yes, Ukrainians are extremely careful in targeting civilian quote-unquote infrastructure. Once again, in the example we talked 1 minute ago, first of all, they had a drone collecting intelligence and proving twice that there are no civilians inside the house, only the soldiers. Along eastern front line, Ukrainians attempted their own counteroffensive against settlements Malatak-Machka and Nova-Andriivka. A total of 5 of them were done, and Ukrainians were able to return just a little bit of their own territory. And then, as you can see from this video, the combat activities within city center of Chasiv Yar continued this until this very day. And well, just another view for you that the city is it's just non-existent, unfortunately, at this point. And so, coming back to this importance of the United Kingdom allowing Ukraine to strike even deeper into Russian territory. Long story short, according to this map, further than 200 kilometers away behind the actual front lines, or even in between border between Russia and Ukraine, there is this Russian airfield called Baltimore, and this is exactly the airfield where a lot of fighter jets and bombers were starting their flight path, which later resulted in attacking Ukraine. Majority of these attacks were against civilian residential neighborhoods and areas. And so now, since Ukraine now has the approval from at least one country to use their Storm Shadows, well, now such airfields, you cannot simply take them and move them further. No, it is a piece of land. You can move your planes further, you can move your military equipment further, but you cannot move airfield further. For this reason, since now Ukrainians can attack it, well, this will significantly complicate further Russian attacks against Ukraine. This is why it is so important for Ukraine to continue receiving such approvals from the West to strike distant targets on the territory of Russia. And as a result of all this I just mentioned and many other factors we talked previously, according to Western military experts, right now we're in the very beginning of the so-called deadly summer. Where according to this, once again, Western military experts, they do not see neither of the sides achieving any breakthrough progress, but unfortunately casualties, specifically from the Russian side, will increase significantly. The reason for this is the following. First of all, Ukraine will continue receiving more and more Western weapons, and they will attack targets already on the territory of Russia. In response to this, Russia would want to retaliate, to revenge. There will be more, unfortunately, attacks against residential major cities, such as what we saw, unfortunately, in the beginning of this week. In response to that, Ukrainians will continue attacking Russia. There will be clashes along the front lines, but once again, since Ukrainians are entrenched deep, Russians entrenched deep as well, not a single country once again will be able to achieve any significant progress. There will be combat activities, most likely they will increase, which will lead to increase in the number of eliminations. Well, this is why the Western military experts characterize it as a deadly summer, and we, right now, are in the very beginning of it. And ultimately, Putin himself, not somebody else, not some crazy assumptions, nothing like this, no, Putin himself hinted where he wants the peace negotiations start already this year. So guys, let's ultimately talk about this. And this will be an extra chapter for my Patreons. This is my way of saying, guys, thank you for your support. Patreon memberships is the only thing what keeps the Russian dude going right now. So if you want to continue watching, see these episodes in early access and fully uncensored, please go ahead and check my Patreon. The link is down below. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you want to continue receiving these daily news updates. Please go ahead and check all the links down below: PayPal donations, Patreon, Instagram, of course, merch, hoodies, t-shirts, cases, hats, everything is down below. Thanks so much for watching. See you tomorrow.